country. Now, our next topic is sources of history and their classification. Sources of history. You will be wondering that how do we get all the information about history by just sitting in the history classroom now. As already discussed, history is the study of past. How can we know about the past? Obviously, we need some sources to study it. These sources are called as sources of history. But how do we find about something that took place thousands of years ago? We learn about it from the remains which people of that time have left behind. And our archaeologists and historians study these remains. Remains means the things which were there in the past and they are left behind. They tell us what might have happened in the past. Who are these archaeologists and historians? Their work is like a detective. Just as a detective solves a mystery of any case with the help of clues or proofs, archaeologists and historians also solve the mystery of the past with the help of historical clues. Clues means sources of history here. So clues are very important to study about the history and they give us a lot of information what had been happened in the past. See children, history is divided into time period, that is a prehistory, proto-history and history. For prehistory and proto-history, we get the information from archaeological sources, and for history, we have literary sources also. Literary sources means the written records such as manuscripts, inscriptions, coins, seals and copper plates. In that, monuments and accounts of foreign travelers and the chroniclers are also important sources of information for the historians. So you can see here in the slide given that sources of history are of two types: archaeological sources and literary sources. Archaeological sources include monuments, inscriptions, artifacts, coins, seals, whereas the literary sources are the written records which were either written as manuscripts. They are of two types: the religious literature and the secular literature. We will study in detail about each of the archaeological sources. What are archaeological sources, children? They are the direct evidence. They cannot be changed or altered. Altered means changed by human beings. They are available in the form of monuments and inscriptions. As you can see here, the two pictures. Monuments, I have taken one example of Taj Mahal. There are other monuments also like the temples, the forts, the palaces. They are also included as monuments. And inscriptions are written on either wall or in the cave walls or just on the walls of temples and palaces, and they were written about what the kings achieved in their rules, and their achievements are inscribed. Inscribed means written on the rocks or the walls, and they are known as inscriptions. So today also people could see them. For example, Emperor Ashoka of the Mauryan dynasty put a large number of inscriptions in different parts of his empire. And so we come to know about his empire in detail through these inscriptions. So inscriptions are very important as it cannot be changed. They were written in the past and we can know about the exact past through these inscriptions. The study of inscriptions is known as epigraphy, means the people who study inscriptions, That course is called as what? Epigraphy. What do these inscriptions tell us? They tell us about the victory of rulers during the battle, the donations made, or the rulers or the people to temples, or extent of the kingdoms, means how much their kingdom was, etc. from these inscriptions. The process of reading and understanding the script means writing, used in the inscriptions is known as decipherment. Some type of writing, any kind of writing, any form of writing is called as a script. Like we write in English, that is English script. We write in Hindi, that is called as Devanagari script. So on. So the writing work is called as a script. So the scripts are very important, and their understanding, the type of their understanding, that word is called as decipherment. So here you have studied about monuments and inscriptions. So monument examples can be palaces, temples, forts, or some kind of structures, as you see here Taj Mahal. And inscriptions are engraved. Engraved means inscribed on rocks, pillars, metal plates, clay tablets, walls of temples, houses, tombs, etc. And these are called as what? Inscriptions. So to know history, we have to refer to these archaeological sources where we don't get any other form of written records. So we have to go through these archaeological sources. We have studied about monuments and inscriptions. The other archaeological sources are artifacts, coins, and seals. Artifacts means the objects or the things that the humans made in the past and used them, such as tools. Tools means their day-to-day work, what they used to do. Like our tool is pen, we use tools such as knife, scissor, etc. These are called as tools. So the human beings use some tools. Weapons to hunt animals. Pottery means pots. Tiny sculptures. Sculptures means small statues, or we can make of stone or marble. Toys, jewelry, etc., which were made by the people and used in their daily life, is called as artifacts. Here you can see in the picture. The other archaeological source is coins. The kings used to inscribe the coins with some form of pictures on it. Either they were made of gold, lead, copper, bronze, or silver. Especially, this coin tells us about the period of a ruler's reign. Rulers means king's rule. Social and economic condition of that time. His trade relation with other regions. So this we can come to know from the coins. For example, Roman coins are excavated in Archimedu, tells us that there were trade relations between India and Rome, because our coins are found from Rome and Roman coins are found from India. This suggests that there was a trade relation between India and Rome. Some coins also tell us that what the ruler's hobbies were. For example, Samudragupta, the king, he is playing a veena, and that is inscribed on one of the coins. So we can also come to know about the musical interest of that time. The study of the coins is known as numismatics. Is the people who study the coins are known as, this study is called as, not the people, the study of coins is called as what? Numismatics. So children, these are the archaeological sources, artifacts, coins, and the last one is seals. Seals are objects with engraved emblem or stamp of authority, like those found at the Indus Valley sites, often showing the animals and figures of gods. Like we have our own seal and emblem of India, where you see the Ashoka pillar. On every important documents we will find that seal. On coins we'll find that seal. On government papers, we'll find such seal. So seal is like a stamp which signifies some authority. But in those days, the seals had the pictures or the figures of animals and the gods, and that was used as a, what we call, like how we have license now, that were used as to travel in some other kingdom. Such seals of Indus Valley civilization are found from Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, etc. And here is a one seal. Picture is also given here. Now the last source of history is literary source. Archaeological source and literary source. Now, literary source means some written books. Either it was written as religious literature or secular. Religious literature means containing about some type of religion, God, etc. Whereas secular literature is connected with, it is not connected with any religion, but either it is the books of the kings on politics, science, biographies, the account of foreign travelers. Account of foreign travelers means the foreign travelers who had come to India to visit our country, they have written the beauty of India, or they have described India in their own words. It is called as account of foreign travelers. So for example, religious literature, you can see the photo of the Bhagavad Gita. You can have the literary sources such as religious literature such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, etc. Whereas the secular literature are written by Kalidas, Banabhatta, Megasthenes, etc. The books which are Indica, which is written by Megasthenes, the accounts of foreign Chinese travelers, that is Fahin and Yuan Seng, Harshacharita written by Banabhatta. The secular literature also includes the Arthashastra book on economics, which is written by Kautilya, or we can call him as Chanakya. So these are the sources of studying history. To summarize the lesson, I will tell you a few points. That is, history may be defined as a systematic study of past events on the basis of archaeological remains. Remains means the things of the past, or literary records. In history, we usually write dates with BCE and CE. BCE means before Christ era, and CE means common era. CE means common era and BCE means before common era. The third point is, history is divided into three parts majorly: prehistory, proto-history and history. I have told you four parts, that is prior to prehistory, when just human beings had come on the earth, that is called as prior to prehistory. But generally we divide history into three parts: prehistory, proto-history and history. The history of India is influenced by the geography of our country. Geography means the physical features like the mountains, plains, plateau, coastal areas. These are the geographical features, and on that basis our history of India is constructed. The main source of information for studying history is called as sources of history, and these sources of history are divided into two parts: archaeological sources and literary sources. To study prehistory and proto-history, where there were no written records, we have to depend only and only on archaeological sources such as monuments, inscriptions, coins, seals and the artifacts. Whereas to study about history, where there are written records, we can also depend and also study about the literary sources, which are called as religious literature and secular literature. As there were no books, the literary sources can be found on manuscripts also, in the form of manuscripts, in the form of inscriptions also. So I hope you have understood this lesson, the history lesson number 1, that is when, where and how. Soon I will be sending you the notes of this lesson. Any doubts are there, then we will clear it later on and we'll tell you how to clear your doubts. So I hope children you have understood the lesson history, where, when and how. Thank you.